Now, Cholamandalam Investment and Finance is in focus. The company saw strong rise in new loans. Fourth quarter disbursals are up 19% month on month, and collection efficiency stands at about 130% for the quarter which has gone by. Arun Selvan is Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Cholamandalam Investment and Finance. Mr. Selvan, good to have you with us here as always on CNBC TV 18. Thank you very much for your time. I remember last time we spoke, you had indicated, we were talking about lending rates and what the RBI can do, cannot do. Since then, we now know that the RBI has paused and they want to take a view in terms of what happens next, want to watch inflation and then decide. They made it clear it's a one meeting pause, does not mean that it's going to be a long extended one. Could you tell us from your business standpoint, what has this really meant? Have you seen any changes? Have you been able to, have you effected any change in your lending rates to consumers because of this? What difference, if any, has this made?
See, actually, sorry, I came on this call to discuss about the public debt rise. That's the only thing. I'm not talking results because we are not at risk come out with our results. With regard to the lending rate, I'm seeing, MCLR increases are not happening across banks. So there is a pause, not only by AWay, but also by most of the banks by not getting into further increases. So we expect, a positive thing, but it is a little premature to take a view on either way, whether there is a pause or will there be further increase in the rates. So we need to wait and watch. It may also depend on what the Feds do in the subsequent meet.
Mr. Selvan, good morning. Can you tell us a little bit about the fundraising? What is the purpose of raising funds, and what is the plan going forward? Any more options that you're looking at to get money on the table?
Yes, that is the purpose. The purpose is that so far we have been dependent on banks and the private placement of entities. So right now we are looking at other opportunities to tap in other investor profiles. So this is an experiment towards that, where we are looking at raising retail entities. So we got an IM created for 5,000 crores, but right now the first issue is for 500 crores base plus a 500 green shoe. So we are looking to test the market and see how the response is, and if there is a good amount of positive response, then we will further scale this up as we go over this year. This is to build an investor franchise for our liability side over the next few years.
All right. Hi, Mr. Selvan. Good morning. Could you run us through what is your mix as of now? Your borrowing mix, as you said earlier, it was banks and private NCDs. So what is the mix? Where do you see this headed? And how much has your cost of funds gone up?
So the mix right now is bank term loans in the range of around 50 to 55%, the NCDs in the range of around 17 to 20%, and then you have securitization to the extent of around 10 to 12%, and then you have the rest as CPs and Tier 2, etc. But most of these are direct placements or direct negotiations with banks and the mutual funds or other investors in the organized space. So we right now wanted to also look at going to the retail space. Chola has always been earlier a deposit accepting company, but subsequent to the DBS venture, the deposit accepting license had been surrendered, and post that RBI has not been issuing fresh deposit accepting licenses. So right now we want to tap the retail deposits, retail NCDs. So in that context, we have come up with this particular issue. We will see the response. We have good franchise across the nation, so we are confident that this should be a successful venture. And if this proves to be good and cost effective, we will scale this up in the quarters and the years to come.
Can you give us a sense of what's happening in the commercial vehicle sector, since you lend to this space? The disbursals in Q4 were very strong, but in general, is this a start of some sort of a multi-year upcycle in the CV space? And to the guys that you lend to, is it more for new commercial vehicles, or is it the replacement demand that's picking up, the used commercial vehicle space that continues to grow? Any sense that you can give us?
Yeah, we had been at a very low on the auto sector, so this has now come around, and going by the investment cycles that we are seeing, there should be a good amount of growth both in the new as well as in the used. The segment which we cater to right now is more focused on the used because we don't fund many of the fleet operators, so the news are generally happen at the fleets, and the fleet operators are now selling off their existing vehicles. So that's created a market in the used segment, and we are tapping into that also. So you will see both new and used picking up in the coming quarters.
All right, Mr. Selvan, in the past, I know you're in the silent period, but you have guided that mid-20s growth is something that you can do. 20 to 25% odd. You're holding on to that, and I think new business as a percentage of AUM, I think that was in mid-single digits. And you were looking at scaling that up. So we don't want a near-term target. Say in the coming years, what is the target out there on growth and new business?
On the new businesses, they will become, they will be around 15 to 20% of the overall AUM of the company in the next few years. That is also subject to our, our experience of being successful in these new products. We have brought in 3 new products, so all the new products are so far doing very good. So if that trend continues, and they should be in the range of around 15 to 20% in the maybe in the next 2 years.
Okay, and overall AUM growth 20 to 25% by current reckoning, is that doable?
I would rather put it, because still we are largely dependent on the vehicle finance. I would say that we should be at least 5 to 10% above the growth of the auto sector. So that is what we would try to keep it. So wherever the auto sector growth happens, we should be slightly above that growth level. We should clock that level of growth instead of trying to fix a number to it.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to just check with you before we wrap up. You said that there's good growth that you're seeing in new and used commercial vehicles. Any other spaces? I mean, you cater to a whole host of sectors. Any other spaces where you see, a big revival? And what kind of growth are we looking at within those spaces?
We are growing, decently well in the LAP and the home loan segments also. These are segments where we have been experimenting over the past few years, and we are now, quite confident of growing these segments, and so we should grow these segments in the days to come. And you have already seen their growth numbers are much ahead, as compared to vehicle finance, because the base is low and there is a potential. So this should give us the good growth legs to on these products. The new businesses, we will experience it and then scale them up. Right now, we are still in the experimental or experiencing, space right now. So we will see how they pan out, and then if there is good amount of growth, we should do it. These businesses are ROA accretive, so if they have good potential, we should really be able to bring them, to a larger proportion of the AUM.
All right, Mr. Selvan, final question before we let you go. There was some buzz about some inorganic growth. I just want you to clear the air, Mr. Selvan. Is there any possibility out there? Various rumors were doing the rounds. Anything out there, or you want to deny it totally?
Unfortunately, the rumor was created by you, and we have denied it, and you failed to air that denial also right now. So I will take this opportunity to say that there is no such case, and we have never pursued inorganic growth in the lending side of the book.
Okay, we'll take your clarification on board. Mr. Selvan just wanted you to clear the air, but yes, we take the denial on board. Thanks so much for joining in. We couldn't talk about any numbers, but post your Q4 numbers, we look forward to having a longer chat and getting some outlook as well from there on. Pleasure speaking to you, as always. Time to move on.